Welcome to part 8 of the Wordle Drawings. And we are closing in on the end of the month. This episode is brought to you by Baru Art and the letter B. You can't spell art without B. The idea here is to solve the day's Wordle and then transform that 5-letter word into art. And with the magic of time-lapse video, you get to see this happen within just a few minutes. The drawing for October 25th. Well, I based this on one of my old sketch a day drawings, which I talked about last time, number 729 to be precise, and chosen somewhat at random from my trove of sketchbooks. I like something about the graphite version of this, but I did wonder what it would look like in color. And I didn't want to change too much, maybe a few details here and there, but the rest pretty much kept it the same as it originally was. And in the end, sad to say, I think I still prefer the Sketch-A-Day 729 over the Wordle drawing for October 25th, but it was worth a try. Now I'm moving my sketchbook all over the frame here, and I know that's probably a little bit annoying to watch. The thing that I should say is that having the video camera directly above makes my drawing position pretty uncomfortable, and I'm not seeing as well as I normally would because I'll get right on top of my paper when I'm normally drawing. But that's where the camera is, so I'm kind of drawing at an angle, and it just gets hard to, get my pencils in the right direction and be precise with my lines. But anyway, you can kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here, and hopefully it's not too distracting. And hopefully someday soon I will figure out a new arrangement so we can limit the kind of weird, annoying bits on these videos. I got the Wordle solution here, and I followed a definition and took it on a tangent, and it ended up in a different neighborhood than it started out being. So I'm going to ask for a little bit of lenience on this one. I started out with the word peak, which you'll see here in a little bit, and I followed that into piquant and picante, and I ended up finding this reference photo for a beautiful Scotch bonnet pepper. If you're into Jamaican cooking, this is fantastic to add. Put it in your jerk chicken, and you'll thank me later. The problem with this is it is October, and this looks so much like a pumpkin because I have no reference to scale. So that was an oversight on my part. I wanted to give my acrylic gouache another go, which is why I'm using this. This was in that dreaded ugly phase for way too long. But I think it ended up cleaning up all right. And by the end, I think that it's acceptable. But I definitely need more practice on my gouache. The Wordle solution for October 27th was one that gave me a number of ideas, and I was excited about that. I love having too many ideas. And so you can see here I drew some sketches and I came up with a layout for this drawing. Originally I thought about reprising that royal mouse from October 12th, which, by the way, I need a good name for him. So if you have any suggestions, leave that in the comments. But then I had another vision of this rotund sort of toad that just begged to come to life. And I'm glad I listened to that, because I think that this ends up being quite a charming little fella. And I like the drawing quite a bit. It's one of my favorites from the month so far. I did spend a little bit more time on this than I have spent on most of the other drawings because, well, I was excited about it, and I think that it deserved a little bit more attention. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Nope. But I still like it. Now, the little coins that are in his wagon. Did you know that there are coins called nobles? And that's what these are. This is one of the wonderful things about this process of doing these Wordle drawings, is because it gets me to do some research and I learn new things, and this is one of them. So this noble, the coin, in my research I found out that it was the first gold coin made in large quantities, and this was in the 14th century. There were several different versions of the noble coin, but anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting and added a little bit more depth to the solution of this drawing. And on the subject of research, I did a lot of research on this one too, researching the noble beaver, or maybe the industrious beaver, ingenious beaver. I'd never much considered how their dams work, but they are just ingenious. I had no idea. They protect their den, and they make an entry and escape underwater. So that protects them and their little baby beavers. Plus they have areas where they can keep food. And yeah, it's just really cool. I also learned that people eat beaver tail. That was news to me. I wouldn't have guessed that. But thanks to Canada, there's also a chain restaurant called Beaver Tails. And they sell what appear to be delicious pastries with all sorts of toppings, all in the shape of a beaver tail. Now, the closest one to me is in Dollywood in Tennessee. And that's quite a drive, but maybe I could do it sometime. And on the way, I could stop at White Castle. I think that would be a fine road trip. This drawing, I did a mock-up also of this in a poster form, in sort of a Soviet-era work incentive poster. And I thought that was kind of cool. Maybe I'll finish that up someday. And that's it for this video. Look for the next one. I think the next one's actually the last one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the flip side.